Hello, everybody. Welcome back to part two of my Beatles song ranking series, inspired by Jeff Witcher over at Jeff Witcher's Vinyl Destination. Did a great job ranking these Beatles songs, and it inspired me to do the same. So I left off, I went from 211 to 195, and we're just going to, again, keep on cracking, as they say over in the UK, and just see how far I go with this video without making it, abysmally long. So 194 for me is going to be the song "It's Only Love" from the album Help. Uh, it's not a song that appeared in the movie, but again, it's another one of those Lennon kind of fill-in tracks. It wasn't a hit. Um, it's kind of got this weird little tremolo guitar that bwom, 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 and then I get high when. So it's one of those songs where they mentioned being high. Around this time, the Beatles were starting to experiment with pot, so those kind of double entendres would be showing up quite a bit in their music, resulting in them being banned. So again, not one of my favorites. I think it's the music, and even the chorus is kind of a little corny. It's only love, and that ain't all. That kind of thing. It's just I don't know. It's not my thing. Um, Number 193. Um, One of the lesser known George tracks. You Like Me Too Much. I like his voice. Again, he's got that youthful sound for those early George cuts. You like me too much and I love you. I really do. And it's kind of like this weird, like, if you leave me. It's kind of a cool, little chord change, but not one of my favorite George tracks. But I mean, I give it its due. Um, let's stick to George again with number 192. I feel like I'm giving George a lot of crap because I did mention him several times. I knocked out three of his White Album tracks in the first episode. I don't mean to. I love George. He's actually possibly my favorite Beatle, but he also, with the small catalog that he had with the Beatles, he didn't really have a chance to expand. With that being said, the song "Only a Northern Song" from Yellow Submarine, again, not one of my favorites. Again, it was kind of about northern songs and some of the publishing rights that the Beatles had with Northern Songs productions. It's okay. It's again not one of my favorites, but it's there. 191 has one of the worst Paul McCartney lines ever. It's the song "She's a Woman." Again, kind of one of those little like bum 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 ba-dum bum bum bum. Kind of a cool little musical cue started off. But Paul McCartney himself has admitted that the line, my love, she gives me presents, and then he goes, I know she ain't no pheasant. I know she ain't no peasant, excuse me. It's just like he was stretching for a rhyme. It's like they were trying to get the extra 2 minutes and 15 seconds or whatever to fill the album, um, or to fill the side, I should say, of the single. It's again another one of those kind of hidden drug um, lyrics in the song with "Turn me on when I get lonely," and again that kind of went unnoticed until it was. But again, it's an okay. It's kind of Paul doing Little Richard again. She's a woman at the end. It's kind of got a throwback sound to it. Um, Number 190, one of the neat early Beatles songs. Ask Me Why. Ask Me Why. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I love from Please Please Me. That it's a good John vocal. I love the harmony. I love how it's kind of it's not perfect. It's not the tight harmonies that we would get on albums like Rubber Soul, but it's the Beatles at their rawest, doing kind of their Cavern Club set, and Ask Me Why kind of has a neat sound to it. 189, um, I'll Cry Instead. Again, not one of my favorites. Um, Again, I'm sorry that a lot of these early Beatles songs are making the cut this early. I'm a later Beatles guy for sure. Again, the John, it's good. It's classic John. I've got every reason on earth to be mad because I've lost the only girl I had. It's just but I can, so I'll cry instead. It's fun. It's John being kind of dismal, which was kind of his theme right up till the end. Um, again, not one of my favorites, but it's kind of a nice little song on Hard Day's Night. 188. Let's switch it up and go to Ringo. Give Ringo some flack. This is the Carl Perkins cover of Matchbox. I like it a lot. It was a B side. Ringo does a great job with it, and I've heard him do it live. I saw Ringo live in 2019. It's cool. Again, it's not my favorite Ringo song. There are some that are actually going to be much higher, probably than you'll expect. Matchbox is never one that stuck with me. It's one that they actually got to do later with Carl Perkins. I know George and Ringo kind of met Carl later on in life. George for sure played it with him at the kind of like the rock and roll reunion show that happened for Carl Perkins with Eric Clapton and G.E. Smith and guys like that. So it's a cool song. You know, it's not one of my favorites. It's a simple lyric and all that stuff. Just kind of like that simple blues style. Sitting here wondering, will Matchbox hold my clothes? Number 187 again. Back to George. Old Brown Shoe. It's a cool song. Kind of the cool, you know, um, do 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 boom bum bum. I love a ball that's twice one is only half as long. Boom boom. It's got that cool slide guitar. Um, I really like the version from Concert for George, and I probably actually maybe appreciate it a little bit more. I used to not like the song at all, but it has gone up in the ranks a little bit, so I will, give it some accreditation here. Number 186, Thank You Girl. It starts with the oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah, and then I love how John goes, and all I gotta do is thank you, girl, and then it's got thank for letting me do the way that you do, and then John goes with the harmonica, the wah 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 wah. It's classic early Beatles, and then it's just one of those great songs. You'll be good to me, you made me glad when I was blue. And then Paul with the and eternally. I really like the harmonies. I probably should have had it a little bit higher than I did, but at this point we're starting to having to weed out some songs here and rank them accordingly. Number 185, kind of a partial song from Let It Be, Dig It, which originated from a longer jam session, which we did end up getting on the Let It Be box set that came out in 2021. So it's cool, it's kind of John just making up lyrics, with like the organ with Billy Preston in the background with John going, like a rolling stone, like the FBI. He's just kind of making up stuff, throwing out pop culture lyrics, and it is kind of cool because it's a good segue into Let It Be on the album. At the end, but that was Can You Dig It by Georgie Wood. It's cool. And people are probably going to give me flack because I have it at 185 and not like at 210. But some of these fragmented songs, I actually do like quite a bit. Number 184 from Beatles for Sale, Kansas City, Hey Hey Hey, which is a Paul McCartney vocal on this cover track. Again, I was always familiar with the original Kansas City. I'm going to Kansas City, here I come. I always loved that as a kid. So I think part of the reason was when I heard this song, I was kind of hoping it would be that version, but it wasn't. Again, a great vocal with John and George with the bye 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 at the end. It's a good Beatles cover, but again, at this point, we're on album number 4 by the Beatles, and we're starting to really get a lot more covers on Beatles for Sale, and it's kind of a regression from the Beatles' previous album with A Hard Day's Night. 183 from Revolver, it's going to be Dr. Robert, which was about a guy that supplied a bunch of pills and drugs in the mid '60s. Again, a John track. Dr. Robert is a new and better man. He helps you to understand. It's my least favorite song on Revolver, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's my least favorite song on Revolver. Again, it's okay. It's not one that I reach for again, and I feel like I'm bashing John quite a bit, but I'm just telling you what I like. And Dr. Robert is not one of my favorites. 182 from Rubber Soul, the song "Wait." It's kind of got the cool intro with "It's been a long time," so it kind of starts with no music, which is cool, and then the great drumming from Ringo with the "Wait until you come back to your mind," whatever it's a good song, and it's kind of like the almost like the an ending that you don't think it's going to be ending. It kind of that you hear the tremolo with the wah, wah, kind of at the end. It's a cool song. Again, Rubber Soul is not in my top five favorite Beatles albums, so that could be the reason why. It's because of songs like this, which I don't fully get behind. 181, probably another surprise for people that it's this high, is Flying from Magical Mystery Tour. It's kind of an instrumental segue, with all the Beatles kind of going ba 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 da da. It's very moody. Again, kind of goes with the film. So it wasn't really intended to be like an album cut necessarily, but obviously when the U.S. Market released the Capitol version of Magical Mystery Tour, everything was added, and so this added an extra couple of minutes. But it's kind of got like this weird like reverse pedal on the back, kind of like we would get with Sergeant Pepper, and songs like "I Am the Walrus" later on the record. Number 180, it's gonna be. I'm sorry, Glenn Kellaway, to do this to you. It's gonna be "Within You, Without You," the lone George Harrison contribution to Sergeant Pepper. Again, I'm surprised by myself that this song was not in my bottom five because I always thought I had disliked it more than I did apparently. But when I put "Within You Without You" up against songs like "Mr. Moonlight" or "It's Only Love," I like it better, and I like I like the drums, and it's just George in terms of the Beatles on the track with a bunch of uncredited session Indian traditional players. Very psychedelic again with George. We were talking. He's kind of got this like effect on his voice. I think it's Glenn's favorite. It's definitely Glenn's favorite George Harrison track. I think it's his favorite off of Sergeant Pepper. Um, don't quote me on that. It might be another one, but yeah, "Within You Without You," it's a little long. Again, there are longer versions of it that exist out there. It kind of gets jammy. Um, I kind of like try to realize it's all within yourself. No one else can make a change, and it's kind of got that weird wah wah wah. It's kind of very similar to what a want want. That's probably why it's so low on my list. But anyway, um, let's see. I'll do a couple more here. Number 179, "Tell Me What You See." Again, another early Beatles cut. I like the harmony with the "Tell me what you see," and then the organ. Dun, 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 dun. "If you let me break your heart." It's a good little song. I like the percussion on the back with like the sticks, the it's a good song. It's good. It's not gonna make my top 150. Um, 170, where are we? 178. An early one. "All I've Got to Do." Again, another one of those songs that starts kind of a cappella with John. "Whenever I want you around you," and then Paul comes in. "All I gotta do," and then Ringo comes in to kind of counts it off and comes in. It's just a great band effort. Again, I like those early Beatles songs, even though my list might not be showing it right now, where Paul and John really shine on two-part harmonies dating back to their love of the 50s music. Um, Number 177, again, another George song with "I Don't Want to Spoil the Party." I don't want to spoil the party. Oh, so, excuse me, it's John. I'm sorry. I'm rolling through these. Have little preparation. "I Don't Want to Spoil the Party." Again, another fun John track. Not much more to say about it. I like his voice in it. It's a classic early Beatles cut. 176 from Revolt from Rubber Soul. I keep messing those two up. Think for Yourself, the George song. Think for yourself, cause I won't be there for you. It's kind of George starting to get into that spiritual kind of song. It's more about, your inner self than it is with, loving somebody or, driving your car, that kind of thing. Kind of got a creepy sound to his voice, but I like it a lot. Um, Think for Yourself. And then let me close here. I'll do this one, number 175, Getting Better from Sergeant Pepper. Um, I don't know, something. I first heard the song, I should say, from the Beatles rock band game, and it was fun to play. I remember that. Incredible bass line. I know Jeff Witcher talked about that too, but it's kind of got this upbeat sound, but then all of a sudden John throws in this like middle eight where he talks about, um, beating his wife and that sort of thing. It was, take it as you will. But I think the thing that probably turns it off a little bit for me is that guitar, that bang, 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 ba-dum, bang, doo-doo, doo-doo, getting better. I don't know, it might just be a little bit too clinky for me, from a guitarist perspective. But I mean, it's cool. It works with the album, and it's really hard to break up some of those later albums that are meant to flow together. But, for this exercise, you have to do it. So Getting Better is 175. That's where I'll close it. I've gone way too long, and I've rambled and probably not made any sense. But let me know what you think of these decisions that I've made. I'm sure at this point I'm ticking everybody off, and I do apologize. But if you're not ticked off too much and you watch my videos, please subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm trying to get to 700, and I'm not getting there. So subscribe if you watch. In the meantime, comment. Y'all be good. Take care, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Bye now.